right, so we're going to do something pretty unusual for us. We've never done this before. Sean proposed this in the CFP, which was debating Mark. We thought that would be entertaining. We probably won't learn much, but we'll have fun. And sometimes that's what we like more, especially right after lunch. So if you can hear me in the green room, you guys should come down now. I'm going to introduce you to our moderator, which is not me, because once I saw what they're talking about, I want to get as far away from it as possible, and Cassandra stepped in. So we'll bring Cassandra to the stage. We'll turn it on. There, it's on.
Mm-hmm. Testing, testing. Oh, I don't have as much of a loud voice as you, I feel.
We could turn her mic up. She's not as loud as Mark and I.
I mean, I could be, but it'd make me hoarse.
All right, with that, I'm going to let Cassandra
take
the stage. Mark and Sean, there you are.
And here they are. Round of applause.
Can you hear what the Mark is cooking?
Nobody can hear you.
Nobody can hear. My mic is off. Oh, no, it's on. You like my abs?
Is my mic on?
Yeah. Thank you. Those are courtesy of Windmill. You should absolutely check out their booth upstairs.
Here we go.
There was a lot of thought that went into this costume, except for the abs. Perfect, right? Here, while we resolve the technical difficulties, I'll let you know, Sean had to stand up there in the green room and draw this on me.
I did. I got to personally touch Mark Bates, which was amazing.
Okay. Jonathan, I hope you got that. One more time. Oh, jump again. There you go.
All right. We again?
You're going to have broken ankles by the end of this.
I think he needs to catch his breath. This is going to be a long debate.
It is.
Not that long.
Not that long.
I hope
Where
not.
he's going.
I can't breathe through this anyway, so I'm good.
This suit is literally 500 degrees, so.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to get started. So you already know Stabby and Mark. I have some fun facts because that is a thing that we do here at GothamGo. So when Stabby was a kid, he beat the original Contra on NES over 100 times.
That's right. I was real popular. I had tons of friends. With?
Oh, that doesn't count.
Oh, come on. It was in the game. It counts.
You're already getting people on your
I didn't
side.
think that was relevant.
I feel misled.
You've lost half the room.
Wow.
Already.
I'll lose the other half pretty quick.
Not before I do.
Stabby also really hates raisins.
Hate them.
And his least favorite thing about Go is there's no proper REPL.
I do. I wish there was a REPL.
There are
All right.
a couple. They're not great, though.
Yeah, I know. I tried to write one. It was terrible.
No,
And Mark isn't interesting enough to have. No, I'm just kidding. So this is really creepy. I was really creeped out when I read this. So Mark has a fake belly button. Yeah, I know.
I know.
I felt it.
Yeah, when he was a little bitty baby, he had a lump on his belly button, so they made him a fake one. Yeah, poor little baby Mark.
I am a test tube baby.
Yeah, super creep.
I am not human.
He also really dislikes a decent amount of people in San Francisco. Long hair, beards, checkered shirts, and hats.
Wow. Calling me out. Last night I get a frantic message from him like, hey man, I think it's getting too mean-spirited. And he opens with that. Now I see. All right. Okay.
And his least favorite thing about Go is vendoring and dependency management. All right. So.
Wait a minute, don't we have to shake hands or something before we start?
Now? Okay. Shake on it. I mean.
Oh, okay.
Boom.
There's me.
Boom.
There's Mark.
Yeah, that seems about right.
My wife made that graphic for me. She's very talented.
Perfection. Thank you, Alice. All right. My name is Cassandra. I'll be moderating today. Yes, this is very much my personality, taken by my little sister. She's quite the little photographer. A couple facts about me, since I'll be join the fun. Until I was like 12 or 13, I couldn't say the word Tylenol, and I still have to say it really slow like that. I used to say Tylenol, but maybe until I was 16. I also very much dislike casserole, like so emphatically dislike casserole. And my least favorite thing about Go is nothing. So clearly I'm the right person to be moderating today. All right, so just a few tips. Keep your eye and ears on the clock. Sorry, I'm like laughing and water's dripping down it.
This one
That's
belongs
so nice.
You can just have it.
Can you get me a gopher really quick, a plushie? So keep an eye on the clock, okay? Or else I'm gonna throw a gopher at you.
Okay.
Don't forget to use real life examples when talking about how you feel about things and your opinions. And be clear, try to limit your rambling, please, because you have limited time. Also, have a go-tastic time and go for it. All right, so let's get started. Which side, guys?
I guarantee we come down on opposite sides of this.
Yeah,
All right, I'll
Almost
leave that
got
for the end. I'll let you think about that. They weren't prepped with that question.
we weren't. Yeah, that was a wild
Okay,
card.
let's go over the debate format just a little bit. We're going to go over opening remarks. There's going to be 7 controversial Golang topics we're going to talk about. They are both going to get 1 minute and 20 for their points. We may open for rebuttal, but probably not. And then we're going to have closing remarks, and then Mark will lose.
That sounds about right.
Yeah,
That sounds
Mark
about
let
right.
me make the slide, so.
That is true.
All right, Mark, go for it.
Oh, man. I was not prepared for opening remarks. All I will say is that everything is awesome. Everything is cool when you're part of a team. I believe Albert Einstein said that.
Yeah, that sounds right.
That sounds about right, doesn't it?
The mask is a real improvement, by the way.
Thank you. Thank you. My wife loves it. I'm just going to leave it there. I didn't prepare any opening remarks, so I don't want to ramble on and cut into what are clearly going to be very well thought out, well articulated.
Very well thought out.
Very well thought out.
Well, first I want to welcome everybody here, esteemed colleagues, distinguished gophers from around the world, the wonderful
And Steve.
GothamGo crew, and Steve, who is a great, great person. The idea behind this debate was that we were going to have several controversial topics, and Mark and I would sort of take a side on them. My hope is that by the end of this debate, you will see that the opinions that I espouse are something like a lighthouse, guiding you to the truth through the darkness and fog of Mark's opinions, which are really just there to mislead you and misdirect you into using his really terrible software.
Yeah, that sounds all right.
Yeah,
Ditto.
yeah, good one, buddy. Good
I'd
job.
love to see a presidential debate where that was the response. Yeah, ditto. Whatever he said.
All right, put your hands in. Hands in.
I can't hear you. The very last.
Hands in. Follow directions. All right. I'm going to ask the question. You're going to have 1 minute and 20 seconds. Please shake.
Wow.
First topic is generics. That was so pathetic.
I'm sorry, are you having trouble taking this seriously, Cassandra?
What part of this doesn't
Yeah.
scream serious?
Honestly, I think it's
Serious, like Cassandra.
Seriously,
Yeah.
Cassandra.
I think it's seriously the lack of podiums.
I think that's our biggest problem,
Yeah.
is people taking us seriously.
That's
Right, yeah, that's definitely the
Absolutely.
clearly what
Achilles
it is.
heel of this presentation.
Totally.
Yeah.
100%. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. The first topic is going to be generics. You will, the audience will be indicated for how much time is left. I will say when you have 30 seconds, 10 seconds, 3, 2, 1. Mark, you're going to start off.
Okay.
Where do you stand on the inclusion of generics into Go?
Okay. Thank you very much, Cassandra, for moderating this debate. We all here appreciate it. We like to thank the great University of New York Institute of Technology for having us all here today. I know, exactly. And I'd also like, again, to thank my colleague, my opponent over here, for his time. I'd like to talk about generics by bringing back the words of a great poet.
Sounds right.
So not me.
Yeah, not you.
Not me, absolutely not. You're not supposed to interrupt.
Oh, sorry.
Come on. Imagine there's no typing. Well, it's easy if you try. No types below us, and above us, only objects. Imagine all the gophers living for today. Imagine there's no compiler. It isn't hard to do. Nothing to build or test for, and no make files, too. Imagine all the gophers living life with just empty interface. You may say I'm a gopher, but I'm not the only one. What? That was 60 seconds? You know what?
You're
I'm
down
done.
to 60 seconds.
Oh, you ruined the flow. I was about to, whatever. I'm done.
I told you we should have practiced.
I know we should have practiced. Anyway, another team stole my thunder with that answer anyway.
So that's your answer?
I'm done. I'm not going to finish.
Okay.
Yeah,
You've completed.
I'm completed. Mostly because I know they can't fast forward the slides.
No, we can actually.
Oh, you
I'm
can't. You screwed that up.
manually
Damn
doing it. But
Okay,
now
let's
I'm
see
giving
the
you 2
slides.
seconds, and now I'm giving you 1 second, and you gave up. Okay.
My next answer is amazing.
All right, Stabby, where do you stand on the inclusion of generics into Go?
Well, generics is a very complicated topic, and I am of two minds on it. On the one hand, generics has already been here the whole time, and I'll touch on that in a second. But what I really want to call out here is that, in my opinion, Go is already too good to us in this regard. There's things like int, which shadow int32 or int64, depending on the platform, which I think is a crutch. I would put it to the Go team to get rid of int entirely.
Please stop distracting the crowd. Mr.
I'm going to get a prize for
Did you actually just spill water on yourself? Good God, dude.
I did just pause the time because
Thank
of all
you
of
so
that.
much.
Oh, he can distract me. Whatever.
Anyways, Mark's answers aside, I would call on the Go team to remove int in all things like it. And in its place, we should have int 7s. We should have int 42s. We should have float 12s. We should have to declare the explicit size of every variable we use up front so that the perils of using variables are further removed from our concern. That said, I do recognize that there is a place for programming generically, and so did the Go team, which is why they gave us the empty interface.
1 minute left.
And you might say the empty interface says nothing, and I agree. Which is why I wrote package generics, which is the only true way to write generic code in Go. It's on GitHub right now, it's free to use, it's not like Mark software where you have to pay for a very expensive and utterly useless class to understand how to use it, and it's here for the community. Chris Nova, who is a wonderful human being, saw it briefly at a bar one night and immediately started to write blog posts
30
espousing how
seconds.
great it is. And if you can't take her word for it, then I don't know who to trust. So, generics has been here all along. Continue to use it, especially with package generics and the incredibly world-changing
10
G
seconds.
construct that it exposes. Don't listen to what Mark says, because his thing makes no
3,
sense.
No, it made absolutely no
2,
sense.
And say it with
One.
G.
I couldn't get the like alarm sound, so but it's really fun. It's kind of like a goose, you know, like a flock of geese coming at you.
It's good. No, I believe it.
I feel like it's working.
Yeah.
Okay.
I thought there were
iPad's
geese
covered
on
in
that
water.
side.
Next topic. Frameworks and Nora.
It's covered in water.
Good God.
I'm going to start your time soon, Mr. Bates.
Oh, no, the next sentence. The next one's good.
What is
This is the good one.
It's a real answer. Okay.
what is your opinion on the place of frameworks in Go?
That's a great question, Cassandra, and I had no idea you were going to ask that question. I want to tell you the story of a sentence. Don't laugh at me, Jonathan. This is an important topic of the day. The sentence, it goes as follows. When we're talking about frameworks, it goes buffalo, 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 buffalo. While the sentence is syntactically ambiguous, it is, however, 100% valid. The sentence uses a restrictive clause, so there are no commas, nor is the word which, as in buffalo, buffalo, which buffalo, 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 buffalo. The second clause is also a reductive relative clause, so that the word that, which could appear between the second and third of words of the sentence, is omitted. An expanded form of the
30 seconds.
sentence, which preserves the original word order, is buffalo bison, that other buffalo bison bully, also bully buffalo bison. Now, the sentence itself could be parsed in several ways, and I'm going to tell you several of them if I can read my screen. Buffalo, buffalo, the animals called buffalo from the city of Buffalo.
10
At buffalo,
seconds.
buffalo, that the animals from the city bully, buffalo, 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 are bullying these animals from that city. You can also say those buffaloes
3,
from Buffalo.
2,
Oh, no!
Bah!
That's a lot of word buffalo. buffaloes.
That was a lot of buffaloes.
That's a lot of buffaloes.
I think you just said buffalo 10 times fast.
I think I did too. I don't get any applause for saying buffalo, 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 buffalo that many times. No, Joe, you can't shake your head. You're partial.
Hold the applause until the end of the debate, please.
Don't make me
Or
spray
forever.
water on me.
All right, Stabby, what is your opinion of the place of frameworks in Go?
So, just out of curiosity, in case people weren't aware, Mark is the author of a framework called Buffalo. He doesn't talk about it very often. It doesn't really come up a lot in his material, but I just wanted to give him a free shout out on that one. Now, that said, I think we all recognize that frameworks and ORMs and things like that can be valuable. But people like Mark, who believe that the standard library is difficult to use, want to hoodwink you into using his services so that you can line his pockets with your hard-earned money, which I think is immoral. Mark Bates sits at home at night, smoking his cigars, lighting them off of $100 bills from his overblown Patreon account, and his terrible, terrible classes in that Ruby book that did not have good reviews on Amazon.
Oh, it has terrible reviews, you read it?
No interruption, please.
Didn't
Wow,
look good.
terrible.
Because he
60
wants you to
seconds.
rely on him. And I'm here to tell you that gophers of the world, you do not need to rely
my eye
on
hole?
Mark Boots to give you frameworks and things like that as a crutch.
30 seconds.
Frameworks aren't necessary. All that you need is some good old-fashioned elbow grease and a heavy dose of the block button on Twitter so that you don't see Mark when he's incessantly
10
promoting his
seconds.
software. Thank you.
That was it?
Yeah, that's it.
Oh, okay.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
finish a little fast.
Oh,
you go.
bummer. I didn't get to do my...
No one practiced. Not me.
Third topic. Mark, is the standard library sufficient for building everything?
I love how I have to go first every single
Well, that was
time.
what we decided on.
I
So
got to do the
prior.
slides.
So
Whatever.
there you go. Okay.
To discuss this issue properly, we really need to talk in terms of community. So I have two quotes from the TV show Community, which I think suit us
Okay.
here today. I discovered the meaning of the standard library, or giant hand. A hand has functions to grip and to release. Without both of these powers, it is useless. Like newborn infants, we grab onto what comes near us, hoping to control it, taste it, jam it in another kid's eye. But the time we spend in control of our world is the time we spend letting others, too long, whatever. I completely missed my phone. I can't read in these
These are your notes.
I can't see.
50 seconds.
It might not shock you all to find the real reason we had a fight today. It wasn't about the bare naked ladies, although I do have some unresolved issues there.
30.
Caring about a person can be scary. Caring about this many people can be horrifying and an embarrassing nightmare, at least for me. But if I can say it today, when can I say it? I love you all. And Sean, take it from an expert. These knuckleheads are right outside your heart. Just open the door and let them in before it's too late. Happy Valentine's Day, everybody.
Do you know it's my birthday?
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, happy birthday.
Thanks.
Now you're just trying to get sympathy from the crowd.
I mean, somebody's got to be sympathetic.
Somebody's got to be sympathetic. It's not me.
Okay, Stabby, is the standard library sufficient for building everything?
When the Go team, essentially descending from the heavens, granted us the wonderful standard library that we have today, they did so with care, with grace, and with elegance.
Wrong.
Wow. Steve is sitting right there.
Wrong.
Ignoring Merc bots like we all should.
China.
Please stop interrupting or I will remove you from the stage.
Oh, please do.
Yeah, please save him
Or
right
this
now.
gopher will come flying at your head.
Everything that's in the standard library is exactly what you need to build software, and I can prove it scientifically. Go find your favorite library to import right now. Go
Buffalo?
take a look at what it was built with. The
60
standard
seconds.
library. And maybe it uses other libraries, but guess what? Those were also built with the standard library. It has literally everything you need. It has everything. It has a CSV parser. It has an HTTP router. It has a math library that only works with floats.
It doesn't have
is-
generics.
Oh,
Yes, it does, as we've already covered. It has everything you need to build software. It is perfect. It was designed with care. And if anybody, like this character, tries to tell you otherwise, you now know that
30
they're lying to
seconds.
you. Almost as if they're trying to buffalo you.
Oh! I like that. That was good.
Thanks.
Thank you. That was very nice. Buffalo.
Oh, is that your project? I
I
hadn't heard
talk
you say
about
it for so long. So.
Yeah.
Fourth topic. Oh. Oh my. I think we may have a problem with the
Nope,
question.
that's
no?
his point.
Okay. 4 and then oh. How do you feel
Pass.
about rendering and dependency management?
Oh, pass.
Pass.
Yeah.
We're going to pass on that
We're
one.
going to pass on that
Yeah,
one.
No,
that's a
it's- they're
pass.
not gonna touch
I'm
it.
gonna
Pass.
pass on that topic.
Pass.
Not gonna touch that one. Are you sure?
Yeah, that went over like a fart in the wind, that joke. Yeah,
Yeah.
we're passing.
Yeah, we're passing on that.
This is what happens when you don't practice.
I tried to get him to
Okay,
practice.
5th topic.
Marcus?
Oh.
Mark, do you think Go needs a better approach to handle errors?
Look, my opponent would let you think that it's okay to panic. It's not. Look, I know the codes. I'm great at the codes. I know the Golang. It's a language. It's on computers. I know all the keywords, the big keywords. If, new, else.
60 seconds.
I'm great at the computers and the codes. People call me all the time and say you're doing such a great
30
job on the
seconds.
computers and the codes.
10
It's on the internet.
3, 2,
Chocolate
1.
S codes. But look, if you write the Golang,
Cut
Thank
off.
you. Thank you.
and my opponent knows, look, it's a language.
I'm sorry, is this a
So is
debate
it
or a street
Golang.
fight?
And I've heard great things about Go, but it's still early. And I know, look, China, a wall,
Jesus.
the codes.
You are bad at reading
That's
the room.
it. All right, we're done. Okay, Stabby. Do you think Go needs a better approach to handle errors?
Thank you, Cassandra. And no, I do not. As with the standard library, the error interface was designed with care and love so that we, everyday gophers, wouldn't have to worry about the mistakes of yesterday. We wouldn't have to worry about deeply nested try-catch blocks where we don't really know where the error is coming from, so we're just kind of guessing in the dark as to where we could be having problems. We don't need to worry about these complicated taxonomies of exceptions that we inherit from one another to build these crazy chains that
60
even
seconds.
Charles Darwin couldn't figure out. What we have is a very simple and elegant approach to handling errors. It's almost Zen-like in its simplicity. And much like a Zen koan, gophers repeat this about every 3 lines of code. If error not equal to nil, return error. It's simple,
30 seconds.
it's easy, and it saves lives. The beauty of this approach is that anytime anything could possibly go wrong, you simply return the error up the stack. And you keep returning and you keep returning until you reach the log fatal method in your main.
10 seconds.
Simple, easy, perfect. And at that point, the systemd or Docker or whatever will come on and restart the process. It's fine. We have computers for this.
3, 2, 1. Topic number 6.
God. Are we done yet? Joke is so old.
Well, there's only 7
Should have
topics.
done all that jumping.
Mark, do you support the current model?
Of what?
Import paths.
Import, yes.
Are you paying attention?
I'm not.
He is
You know, it's funny you mention that. I'm surprised this subject even came up here today. It seems like the wrong venue for discussion, but here we are. I spent a great deal of time researching this subject, hours of Googling and reading and trying to understand all sides of this very divisive issue. I spoke with some key figures involved in the industry as well as some outside the industry to make sure my conclusions were backed by solid, concrete data.
Sounds like you.
Yes, it does. Now, before I review my findings, let me just say that these views will be controversial, and there will be much debate in the days and weeks ahead. So, my results are as follow. Number 1,
60 seconds.
Pat Sajak, the top show host. Number 2, Pat Benatar, the singer. Number 3, Pat Morita, the actor.
Are these pats or paths?
We're talking about important Pats, right?
We are not, in
Pats
fact,
of
talking
import?
about pats.
30 seconds.
Oh, never mind. My bad.
At this point, I must confirm, you do know how to read.
I do not know how to read. Steve reads everything to me.
I buy it. I
Yeah.
totally buy that.
Absolutely.
Is that a pass then? Is that a pass? Not a path or a pats, but are you passing?
Are we not out of time yet? How long is this timer?
Well, it's 1 minute and 20 seconds, which we also established in the email to you,
But I clearly did not read.
further supporting that you cannot read. Okay, Stabby. What about you?
So, unlike Merrick Batts, I actually read the question, and I was prepared he might actually drown.
That's exactly what I was
Actually,
thinking.
genuinely concerned that he might be drowning as we speak.
Oh, God. Oh, please be getting video of that.
It's really hot in here.
As complimentary as I've been of Go so far,
We know
might
who
be
you are.
surprised
You
to
can
learn
take it
that
off.
I don't like import paths as they stand. Because the most common question you get from a new gopher after what is GoPath and oh my God, why is GoPath, is wait, do I really have to have all of my code on github.com to use it?
60 seconds.
I'm more of a clear case kind of gal. Does this mean Go isn't for me? And every single time I have this conversation, which is often, I have to say, unfortunately, yes, that means you can't use Go. Every import path has
30
to start
seconds.
with github.com. I would put it to the Go team to make an import solution that is more inclusive to other source control systems. We need to bring in ClearCase. We need to bring in Visual Source Safe. We need to bring in Bitbucket, HG. We need to bring in, I'm sorry, what was that? RCS. We need to bring in RCS, a
10
community-driven
seconds.
approach to import paths. I would put it to the Go team to make sure that we're not excluding all of these wonderful gophers who don't use
Three,
whatever GitHub is, because
two,
what even is GitHub?
1. So excited.
You okay under there? Yeah. Doesn't look it.
I don't think he is.
It didn't look good when I came out. let
I
alone
mean,
now.
this doesn't look good.
No. This is pretty bad.
The drippage
Suffering
is,
from
is,
severe
is
dehydration
definitely
right now.
Thanks.
on a level. Did you draw that shirt yourself?
I drew
Sean
that on
drew
him.
it
Yeah,
on
I
me.
drew that on him. Yeah.
That's teamwork right
Yeah, I
there.
actually got to touch it.
Yeah.
It was not good.
That's opponent love. It's beautiful. Okay.
This is our last question.
It looks like you're aging
This
in front
is
of me.
this is our very well
It's like I'm watching you decompose.
and with a mask on, which is quite impressive.
By the way, my shoes match.
They do. They're very lovely.
Just want to point that out.
Morgus?
Effort. That's the only effort I put into this whole thing.
Okay. Thank you.
She's getting a huge wet hug after this.
Oh God, please no.
Can somebody please get on stage and protect Cassandra from Mark?
I've got my gopher guard. Topic 7. Mark, what changes would you make for Go 2?
Go to, yes. Go to me is just like a story I know called The Puppy Who Lost His Way. The world was changing, the puppy getting bigger. So you see, this puppy was like Go, in that they were both lost in the woods. And nobody, especially the little boy, society, knew where to find him, except that the puppy was a dog. But Go, my friends, that is a revolution. Nippon football rules!
Mr.
I wonder if
Bates.
people even know that movie anymore.
Mr. Bates, what you have just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard. At no point in your rambling, incoherent response were you even close to anything that could be considered a rational thought. Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it. I award you no points, and may God have mercy on your soul.
A simple wrong would have done.
I don't think it would have.
Now you all ask yourselves, is this all a setup for that joke?
Stabby, I will give you the opportunity to give a real answer.
Thank you. And a real answer I have. Because unlike Mark Bates, I respect the time of everybody here and the fact that you attended this debate, which is why I wore this ridiculous outfit. Go to. What should be included in Go to? Now, so far I've been very complimentary of the standard library. It has everything you need, and I stand by that statement. But with Go to, we have an unprecedented opportunity to change the face of software development as it exists today. Why should we leave anything out of Go to? I say, bring it all in. Type erasure, monads, whatever they are. A Lua interpreter, a JavaScript
60
engine,
seconds.
Rails itself.
Make my life a lot easier.
Kafka's pretty hot.
30
Bam! Kafka's in too. Redis? Everyone uses Redis. Welcome aboard. You're in Go to, Redis. Rabbit MQ?
seconds.
No, I don't really like rabbit, so we're not going to put that one in. Why should we leave anything on the table? .NET's becoming open source. How about we just put some .NET in there? The code's right there. We could copy it. Copy it. All I have to say is Go-To could be the language that brings everyone together because it has every language in it. Shoot for the stars.
Thank you for that eloquent response.
Thank you, Cassandra.
A simple wrong.
Stabby.
I think they've got a thing going.
Now, Mark, I will give you the opportunity. and
Always.
Please take advantage of taking a closing remark.
Again, I'd like to say thank you to all of you for coming here today, listening to what we have to say. And Cassandra, again, thank you for your time and effort moderating this debate. It hasn't been easy. I know Sean here is impossible to deal with,
Very much so.
with a very giant ego, whereas I myself am very humble and do not need to fly first class. Well, my ego flies first class.
tracks.
I fly economy. Anyway,
2 seconds.
I would like to leave you with these words. You take the good and you take the bad, and you take them both together, and there you have the facts of life.
The facts of
And it
life?
takes a lot to get them right, my friend, when you're learning the facts of life. That's it. Thank you very much for your time.
Okay. Stabby.
Well, like Mark, I would like to thank everyone for coming out and listening to us put on what is probably the stupidest thing that could have ever happened here today.
Almost as bad as the Who's On First Steve and I did 3 years ago.
I hope that at the very least, what you've taken away from this is a simple set of lessons. 1, never go on stage with Mark Bates. He refuses to practice or prepare, and he will actually tank anything that you do with him because, oh my God, look at this person.
Animals, kids, and Mark Bates. It's the first rule of Hollywood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But seriously, thank you everyone for coming out and listening to this. We wanted to have a fun kind of mock debate and just remind people that there are a lot of controversial and very opinionated issues in Go, and it's okay that we can kind of laugh at ourselves, or just specifically me and Mark. People can laugh at us because it's just a programming language. As much as it's a great programming language, there's also room for people to not take it so seriously.
Yeah, ditto. Thank you all very much. Cassandra, everybody.
Cassandra, our wonderful moderator.
Here's what we're going to do. We're going to do some applause. So give me this.
Oh, we can't have winners.
No, we're going to.
Oh, damn it.
I
No,
made
we're
the
going
slide,
to.
Mark.
Okay. So please, per round of applause, if you would like to cast your one vote, just one, please, for Stabby. Okay, all right, okay. For Mark. Oh, being the moderator sounds a little bit like a tie, but being
Didn't
that,
sound close.
It didn't even, oh, whatever.
well, it did, but being that Stabby did the
He's already
slides,
running off the stage.
the winner is the guy who did the slides.
What a surprise! I had no idea that this would happen.
And here's a
That's my
really
dog.
sweet picture of his
That's what
dog.
the suit's based off of. It's that dog. I love that dog.
Thank you, everyone!
Hey, everybody.